Most people know the names Humphrey Bogart, James Stewart, and Bette Davis. But there are many less familiar talents from the Golden Era who delivered equally compelling performances. Some of these lesser-known performers may have been overshadowed by their more iconic co-stars in history books, while a number of them were much more famous in their day but have, for whatever reason, been forgotten so many years later. Here are 27 underrated actors who I think deserve more recognition. Before you watch, mention your choice of underrated actors from Golden Era you think deserved more recognition. Claude Reigns. Humphrey Bogart would not have been as memorable in Casablanca without Claude Reigns to play against. For his own performance, Reigns received his second Oscar nomination of 4, all of them for supporting roles. He was primarily a character actor known for villainous characters, as in The Adventures of Robin Hood, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, and Alfred Hitchcock's Notorious. However, Reigns did occasionally play the lead. He portrayed the titular roles in The Invisible Man and the 1943 version of Phantom of the Opera, and played the hero in The Wolfman, making him one of the less heralded regular stars of the Universal Classic Monsters franchise. Although the cast of Casablanca weren't newcomers, the movie's success gave their careers a bigger boost, and here's what they did after Casablanca. Reigns brought sophistication and complexity to every role he took on, elevating even the smallest parts with his commanding presence and distinctive voice. After Casablanca, he continued his streak of memorable performances in films like Caesar and Cleopatra and Lawrence of Arabia. His ability to portray morally ambiguous figures made him a go-to actor for complex supporting roles, ensuring his work remained unforgettable. Van Heflin. He rarely played leads, but he was so good in doing what he did do. Among all the male stars of the studio era, he's probably the only one you could pick up at age 30 or so, plop into a contemporary movie, and he would fit in perfectly. Check out any of his movies from the 1940s, especially Possessed and Madame Bovary. And by no means should you miss his Academy Award-winning performance in Johnny Eager in 1941, where he stole the show as a charming yet troubled alcoholic. Van Heflin had an uncanny ability to bring nuance and authenticity to every role, whether playing morally complex characters or dependable supporting figures. He truly shone in Shane in 1953, where his quiet yet steadfast portrayal of Joe Starrett perfectly complemented Alan Ladd's iconic gunslinger. Heflin's work was characterized by a grounded realism and emotional depth that set him apart from the more theatrical styles of many of his contemporaries. Although he never reached the stratospheric fame of leading men like Clark Gable or Cary Grant, Heflin's legacy endures through his consistently strong performances. His ability to inhabit roles with subtlety and conviction ensures that his work remains timeless and worth revisiting for anyone who appreciates classic Hollywood cinema. Kay Francis. Although Kay Francis made it through the transition from silent pictures to talkies, her stardom didn't last much longer than the late 40s. She was with Warner Brothers for her best films, including Ernest Lubitsch's Trouble in Paradise. There she displays impeccable comedic timing and a talent for wordplay, delivering Lubitsch's dialogue with flair. For a time, she was the highest-paid actress in Hollywood, but this came to an end following her public feud with the studio. Warner Brothers declined to renew her contract due to her tumultuous personal life, and after taking smaller parts with other studios, Francis fell out of the public eye and is now largely forgotten. Kay Francis, once dubbed the Queen of Warner Brothers, was known for her elegance and distinctive lisp, which only added to her charm. She excelled in melodramas like One Way Passage and I Found Stella Parrish, captivating audiences with her emotional depth. Despite her immense talent and status as Hollywood's highest-paid actress in 1935, her career suffered from typecasting and behind-the-scenes tensions. By the late 1940s, she shifted to theater and charity work, but never regained her earlier stardom. Joel McCrea. Joel McCrea spent the latter half of his career starring in B-movie westerns, but this was not the case at the start. He had the lead in the original 1932 film adaptation of The Most Dangerous Game, and later starred in Sullivan's Travels and Alfred Hitchcock's Foreign Correspondent. McHugh had a wide range of characters he could embody, but he was cast as the romantic lead opposite some of the biggest female stars of the time, including Barbara Stanwyck and Ginger Rogers. Although he had reasonable success, McHugh enjoyed his time outside Hollywood and was happy to step out of the spotlight as he got older. Popularized during the Great Depression, screwball comedies enjoyed a brief heyday but remained popular. Here are the best movies in the genre. Gladys Cooper. Primarily a stage actress for the first part of her career, Gladys Cooper went on to gain notoriety in Hollywood in the latter half of her life. During Hollywood's golden age, she co-starred in Alfred Hitchcock's Rebecca and the Bette Davis vehicle, now Voyager, earning her first of 3 Oscar nominations for the latter. Decades later, she portrayed Mrs. Higgins, her 3rd Oscar-nominated role, in My Fair Lady, opposite Audrey Hepburn and Rex Harrison. While Cooper was a fantastic actress and had high-profile roles, due to her fame coming later in life, her younger co-stars wound up lasting longer in the public's memories. Gladys Cooper brought a refined elegance to every role, seamlessly transitioning from stage to screen in her later years. She excelled at portraying strong, complex women, such as her unforgettable performance as the domineering mother in Now Voyager. Cooper also made a mark in films like The Song of Bernadette and Separate Tables. Despite being a late bloomer in Hollywood, her remarkable versatility and poise ensured she was always in demand, even as the spotlight shifted to younger generations. Ann Miller. Ann Miller was a powerhouse of the musical genre, displaying exceptional dancing and singing talent in a number of big-budget movies. She was quickly recognized for her tap dancing abilities, in particular, and was cast in such beloved classics as On the Town, Easter Parade, and the 3D musical movie Kiss Me, Kate. Though she was cast alongside many actors and actresses with high-profile star power, Miller often played the secondary lead and so never achieved the same level of fame. After her studio contract was up, she moved primarily to stage performances, occasionally taking small roles, such as Coco in David Lynch's Mulholland Drive, until her death in 2004. Anna May Wong. Anna May Wong has begun to be recognized for the wonderful actress that she was and the important work she did. Due to racial prejudice, she sadly did not receive much credit while she was alive. Facing discrimination throughout the entirety of her career, Wong was typecast in roles that perpetuated Asian American stereotypes. But this did not stop her from delivering great performances in such films as Piccadilly and Daughter of the Dragon. In Shanghai Express, which was nominated for Best Picture, Wong stands out among her co-stars. Though Marlene Dietrich is billed higher, Wong asserts herself in all of their scenes together and makes the movie her own. George Sanders. George Sanders was often cast in roles that were mysterious or even villainous due to his commanding speaking voice. The British actor began as a stage performer before moving to Hollywood and co-starring in the Alfred Hitchcock films Rebecca and Foreign Correspondent. His greatest success came with his performance opposite Bette Davis in All About Eve, for which he won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor. While his career lasted long after that, it was cut short by a stroke that hindered his mobility, so he did not gain the level of fame as some other actors from Hollywood's golden age. All About Eve is considered one of the greatest films in Hollywood history, and it's begging for a remake. But who would play the main cast? Dana Andrews. The Best Years of Our Lives is considered an American classic, and though Dana Andrews was not nominated for his performance as World War II vet Fred Derry, the film won Oscars for Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Screenplay, among several others. It's a shame that he was not recognized for his work in the film, as Captain Derry is one of his best roles, genuinely representing many homecoming Americans at the time. His many other notable films also include Laura and Where the Sidewalk Ends. Despite his strong performances, Andrews soon moved into less prestigious television work, and his more significant work was relatively forgotten. Hattie McDaniel. Hattie McDaniel was also the first black woman to attend the Oscars as a guest of honor, though she had to sit at a segregated table away from her co-stars. Despite her Oscar win, Hollywood limited her to playing roles like maids and cooks, reflecting the racial prejudice of time. Still, McDaniel embraced every role with grace and professionalism, earning the admiration of her peers. She appeared in over 300 films, though she was often uncredited. Beyond acting, McDaniel was a trailblazer in radio, becoming the first black woman to star in a national radio program with The Beulah Show. Her career wasn't easy, but she used her talent to pave the way for future black actors. Today, Hattie McDaniel is remembered as a groundbreaking performer who made history despite overwhelming challenges. William Powell. William Powell was the epitome of charm and sophistication, excelling in roles that demanded wit and elegance. Best known for his portrayal of Nick Charles in the Six Thin Man films, Powell brought humor and intelligence to the screen, forming one of Hollywood's most beloved on-screen pairings with Myrna Loy. His performance in the screwball classic My Man Godfrey in 1936 showcased his ability to add depth to light-hearted roles, earning him an Academy Award nomination. Despite his success, Powell stepped away from Hollywood in the early 1950s, with his role in How to Marry a Millionaire in 1953 marking a graceful end to his career. This choice allowed him to focus on his personal life, but it also meant his name became less prominent compared to his contemporaries. Powell's legacy, however, endures through his timeless performances, his impeccable comedic timing, and his ability to embody class and sophistication in every role he took on. Agnes Morehead. Agnes Morehead was a dynamic actress whose career spanned radio, film, and television, making her one of the most versatile performers of her time. She first gained prominence for her work with Orson Welles, notably as a member of his Mercury Theater. Her film career flourished with memorable roles in classics like Citizen Kane and The Magnificent Ambersons, the latter earning her the first of 4 Oscar nominations. Despite her success on the silver screen, Morehead is best remembered by modern audiences for her portrayal of Endora, the glamorous and witty witch on the hit TV series Bewitched. Her radio work was equally impactful, with her chilling performance in the radio play Sorry Wrong Number becoming legendary. Morehead's ability to transition seamlessly between mediums showcased her immense range, from dramatic gravitas to comedic brilliance. Though she excelled in Hollywood's golden age and left an indelible mark on television, her career often defied easy categorization, as she consistently elevated every project with her presence. Her legacy as one of the industry's great character actresses remains firmly intact. Frederick March. Frederick March was a versatile American stage and film actor, adept at both romantic leads and complex character roles. According to Britannica, he won 2 Academy Awards for Best Actor, the first in 1933 for the horror classic Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and the second in 1946 for the emotionally repressed World War II veteran in William Wyler's The Best Years of Our Lives. He won a Tony Award in 1947 for Years Ago, and a second for originating the role of James Tyrone in Eugene O'Neill's Long Day's Journey into Night in 1956. With a resume like that, how did he slip from Hollywood's memory? The Hollywood Reporter explains it with 3 toxic words: Ku Klux Klan. This accusation was first leveled at March posthumously in 2017, that during a brief period while he attended the University of Wisconsin, he was a member of that hateful group. In 1919, March, then a senior at the University of Wisconsin's Madison campus, accepted an invitation to join an interfraternity honor society that shared a name with the Ku Klux Klan, though the group inviting March had nothing to do with the KKK as it's known today. Research conducted by the Wisconsin Historical Society did not reveal any connections between that group and the Knights of the Klan. Despite the clarification from historians, the damage to March's reputation lingered as the posthumous accusation spread widely online. The misunderstanding stemmed from the name of the Interfraternity Honor Society, which had no ties to the Ku Klux Klan, but unfortunately shared its moniker. Supporters of March have pointed to his lifelong commitment to progressive causes, including his advocacy for civil rights and his vocal opposition to McCarthyism during the 1950s. Throughout his career, Frederick March was celebrated as one of Hollywood's most accomplished and versatile actors, seamlessly transitioning between stage and screen. His ability to portray characters with depth and authenticity earned him the respect of peers and critics alike. However, the resurfaced controversy in 2017 caused some institutions, including the University of Wisconsin, to remove his name from campus spaces, reigniting debates about historical context and legacy in the modern age. George Arles. Another one is George Arles, who won the Best Actor Oscar for Disraeli, released in 1929. In the 1930s, he had the kind of star power that only Sir Laurence Olivier would rival in the 1950s. Arles could lay down the conditions to the studio heads. He had to have control over the scripts, and would insist on rewrites if he felt the story was not working. Though he was demanding, Arles did do things to help the studios, such as have rehearsals before each scene was shot, thereby cutting down on the need for retakes. Because he had an established career in the theater, he had name recognition, and his films were known to have quality. Before Paul Mooney came along, Arles had mastered the field of film biography with Disraeli, Alexander Hamilton, Voltaire, The House of Rothschild, The Iron Duke, and Cardinal Richelieu. As for why he is not so well remembered, part of it may have been due to his heritage as a stage actor. His films are filled with exaggerated gestures and dramatic emphasis in a lot of lines. Most of his historical films were filled with the Arles bluff. A historical figure is caught in a corner and has to bluff his way out against his opponent. Sometimes he used pure bluff, but other times he did have a card up his sleeve to change fortune. Also, Arles and his wife, Florence, were very private people. They did not go in for the excessive publicity that movie magazines generated. Newsweek magazine got upset because Arles would not allow them to photograph the inside of his home. They even got along with Arles by writing a very snarky obituary for him, claiming that his main accomplishment as an actor was to show that certain historical figures all looked alike. Fatty Arbuckle. One of the earliest Hollywood comedians to receive megastar status in his era was a man named Roscoe Fatty Arbuckle. At the peak of his success, he made an astonishing $1 million per year, an enormous sum for post-World War I Hollywood. Fatty Arbuckle's career never quite recovered for most of his life. Then, in 1932, he made somewhat of a comeback. He got married, starred in some films again. In 1933, he celebrated his first wedding anniversary with friends and loved ones. "This is the best day of my life," he reportedly told his nearest and dearest. He died that same night in his sleep, aged only 46. Warren William. Warren W. was a longtime Broadway actor who landed at Warner Brothers in 1931 and quickly became a star. Often cast as suave, confident characters, he brought charisma to roles like Julius Caesar in Cecil B. DeMille's Cleopatra and Dave the Dude in Frank Capra's Lady for a Day. He made history as the first actor to portray Perry Mason on screen and added depth to the iconic detective Philo Vance in several features. Known for his commanding screen presence, Warren also led Errol Flynn's debut films, The Case of the Curious Bride and Don't Bet on Blondes. Dubbed the King of Precode, he excelled in portraying morally ambiguous and sophisticated characters that defined the era. William continued to lead films throughout the 1940s, but his career was cut short by illness after World War II. His untimely death at 53 in 1948 marked the end of a remarkable career, leaving behind a legacy as one of Hollywood's most polished and underrated stars. William Haynes. One of the nation's top box office draws from 1928 to 1932, Haynes was an MGM star who specialized in portraying brash young go-getters who get taken down several pegs by the end of the movie. Haynes made over 50 features, starring Lon Chaney, Marion Davies, Mary Pickford, Joan Crawford, and multiple others. He declined a sham marriage offered by Louis B. Mayer when his homosexuality was on the cusp of public disclosure, left the acting trade, and transformed himself into interior decorator to the stars, a career at which he prospered, right up to his death in 1973. William Haynes was not only a trailblazer in his acting career, but also in his personal life, standing firm in his identity during a time when Hollywood enforced rigid moral codes. His refusal to conform to societal expectations, even at the expense of his film career, made him a quiet icon of defiance and authenticity. After leaving acting, he became a highly sought-after interior decorator, working with Hollywood elites and designing elegant spaces that reflected his impeccable taste. Joe E. Brown. Mr. Brown is remembered today for his turn as Osgood Fielding III in Some Like It Hot, and as a cartoon character in a trio of Disney shorts caricaturing old Hollywood actors. But in the 1930s, Joe E. Brown was a very big deal, making 3 or more comedies per year, starring in a string of popular films that made Warner Brothers boatloads of money. Brown was a circus acrobat in his elementary school years and a pro ball player in his 20s before he took to acting and conquered vaudeville and Broadway. He gained movie stardom in early Technicolor musicals, most now lost. His movie career slowed down during the 1940s, and after playing Cap and Andy in the Technicolor version of Showboat in 1951, he made only a few screen appearances. Brown died at age 81 in 1973. Frank McHugh. McHugh was a thespian for close to 70 years. He began as a tot in his parents' theater, and by the time he was 17, he was stage managing and playing lead roles in Pittsburgh. He moved from regional stage work to Broadway, but as the 1930s rolled in, Frank M. moved west to Hollywood. On various Hollywood and Burbank sound stages, McHugh worked on as many as a dozen feature films a year, occasionally as the lead, but more often he was a supporting player. Everything from Catholic priests to life insurance salesmen in the Old West. In the 1950s, McHugh's film work slowed down, and he continued on with radio and television work. He retired in 1969, dying in Connecticut at age 83. Chester Morris. Chester Morris was a skilled actor whose career spanned both the silent and talkie eras, solidifying his place as a dependable star in Hollywood's golden age. While he shone brightest as Boston Blackie, a witty and resourceful reformed criminal in the beloved 1940s crime series, Morris's range extended far beyond this iconic role. His Academy Award-nominated performance in Alibi in 1929 showcased his ability to tackle complex characters, setting him apart as a versatile talent. Morris brought a magnetic presence to films like Five Came Back in 1939 and Three Godfathers in 1936, where his layered performances added depth to every story. Though he often played second fiddle to more prominent leading men, his knack for injecting charisma and intensity into morally gray roles made him a standout. Despite never reaching the pinnacle of fame like some of his contemporaries, Chester Morris carved out a legacy as a reliable and captivating actor whose work remains a testament to his adaptability and talent. Helen Twelvetrees. Helen Twelvetrees was a luminous star of early talkies, celebrated for her emotionally resonant performances in films like Millie in 1931 and Her Man in 1930. With her delicate beauty and heartfelt acting, she often portrayed women grappling with heartbreak and adversity, bringing authenticity that resonated deeply with audiences. Her ability to convey vulnerability and resilience made her a standout in the pre-code era, where she thrived in melodramas and romantic dramas. At the height of her career, Twelvetrees was considered one of Hollywood's most promising leading ladies. However, as the industry shifted away from the pre-code style, her career waned, and she struggled to find roles that matched her talents. Despite this, her work left an indelible mark, and she is now regarded as a poignant reminder of the era's fleeting brilliance. While her name may not be as widely recognized today, Helen Twelvetrees remains a symbol of the grace and emotional depth that defined early Hollywood. Noah Beeri, Senior Noah Beeri Sr., was a powerhouse of early Hollywood, renowned for his magnetic screen presence and talent for portraying larger-than-life antagonists. With memorable roles in films such as The Mark of Zorro in 1920 and She Done Him Wrong in 1933, Beeri's commanding voice and rugged features made him a natural fit for characters of authority, menace, or intrigue. He carved a niche as one of cinema's most dependable character actors, adding depth and gravitas to every role he undertook. Though overshadowed by his younger brother Wallace Beeri, who achieved greater stardom, Noah's career was prolific and enduring, with a wide range of roles in silent films and early talkies. His ability to balance charisma with intimidation brought unforgettable energy to the screen, making him an indispensable part of many classic films. While he may not have received the same widespread recognition as his brother, Noah Beeri, Sr.'s contributions to Hollywood's golden age are undeniable. His legacy as a versatile and dynamic performer remains an essential piece of early cinematic history. Una Merkel. Una Merkel was a delightful presence in Hollywood's golden age, known for her impeccable comedic timing and endearing personality. A master of spirited sidekicks and relatable everyday women, she brought warmth and wit to classics like 42nd Street in 1933 and The Bank Dick in 1940. Merkel's quirky charm and sharp delivery made her a favorite among audiences, even as she often found herself in supporting roles. Her ability to seamlessly blend humor with heartfelt emotion allowed her to elevate any scene she was in, making her an indispensable part of Hollywood ensembles. While she never achieved the status of a leading lady, her memorable performances ensured she remained a cherished figure in film history. Una Merkel's legacy lies in her ability to bring depth and joy to characters who might have otherwise been overlooked, securing her place as one of the era's most underrated gems. Nat Pendleton. Nat Pendleton was a unique talent in Hollywood's golden age, blending his athletic prowess as a former Olympic wrestler with a natural flair for acting. In films like The Thin Man in 1934 and Horsefeathers in 1932, he stood out as the lovable oaf or the tough guy with surprising tenderness. His on-screen presence was magnetic, often stealing scenes with his charm and subtle humor, even when paired with bigger stars. Pendleton's versatility allowed him to shine in both comedic and dramatic roles, effortlessly transitioning from slapstick antics to heartfelt moments. Despite his contributions to some of the era's most beloved films, he was often cast in secondary roles, never fully stepping into the spotlight. His ability to bring depth and humanity to seemingly simple characters remains one of his most enduring, yet underappreciated qualities. Nat Pendleton may not have been a leading man, but his unforgettable performances left an indelible mark on classic cinema. Louise Fazenda. Louise Fazenda was a comedic gem of the silent and early sound eras, celebrated for her slapstick brilliance and unique ability to light up the screen. In films like The Old-Fashioned Way in 1934 and Footlight Parade in 1933, her expressive face and impeccable timing made her a standout performer. Known for her portrayals of quirky, offbeat characters, Fazenda brought a delightful charm and humor that often stole the show. While she primarily appeared in supporting roles, her talent was integral to the success of many ensemble comedies. Fazenda's gift for physical comedy, paired with her warm and relatable presence, made her a favorite of audiences and directors alike. Despite her contributions being somewhat overlooked in the annals of film history, she was a pioneer of early Hollywood comedy and remains a shining example of the era's lighter side. Her legacy, though understated, continues to inspire appreciation for the unsung heroes of classic cinema. Richard Arlen. Richard Arlen was a dependable and rugged leading man whose quiet charisma and sincerity brought depth to every role he played. Rising to fame with his performance in the groundbreaking, Oscar-winning silent film Wings in 1927, Arlen quickly proved his adaptability by transitioning seamlessly into talkies. His roles in films like Island of Lost Souls in 1932 showcased his versatility, allowing him to excel in both adventure and drama genres. While he lacked the star power of Hollywood's biggest names, Arlen's steady presence made him a reliable choice for directors and a favorite among audiences. Whether piloting planes or facing moral dilemmas, his understated acting style resonated with authenticity. Despite appearing in a wide range of films during Hollywood's golden age, his contributions remain largely overlooked in film history. Richard Arlen's career stands as a testament to the power of consistency and the lasting impact of a performer dedicated to his craft. Nancy Carroll. Nancy Carroll was a radiant star of early talkies, celebrated for her captivating presence and versatile performances. She achieved critical acclaim with her Academy Award-nominated role in The Devil's Holiday in 1930, where her blend of charm and dramatic skill captivated audiences. Known for her vivacious energy and striking beauty, Carroll became a staple of romantic dramas and musicals during the pre-code era, showcasing a range that set her apart from her contemporaries. Despite her undeniable talent, Carroll's career began to decline in the mid-1930s due to a combination of changing industry trends and studio conflicts. While her later roles were fewer, her impact during the peak of her career remains significant. She brought a unique sophistication and emotional depth to her characters, leaving a lasting impression on early Hollywood. Nancy Carroll's legacy is that of a star whose light shone brightly, albeit briefly, in the golden age of cinema. There were many other actors who did very well in the films, but they did not get well recognition. I may have missed many. Do write your own personal list. If you think there should be another video with different actors who were forgotten without any valuable fame, let me know below.